Aurora, just drink the tea. You need to calm down before the ceremony. I am calm. Why does everyone keep saying that? Your hands are shaking. This will help with the nerves. Marina, I don't want. Why are you locking the door? Just drink it, Aurora. Everything will make sense soon. My sister drugged me before my wedding to marry my fiancé herself. Hi, I'm Aurora. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. I need to start by explaining my relationship with my sister Marina before she destroyed my life. We're 2 years apart. I'm 28 and she's 30. Growing up, we had the typical sister dynamic. Some closeness, some rivalry, mostly coexistence. Our parents, Oberon and Celestine Waverly, always tried to treat us equally, but Marina had this way of making everything a competition I didn't know I was in. When I got into a good college, she applied to a better one. When I got engaged before her, she suddenly started talking about how marriage was outdated and she was focused on her career. When I bought my first car, she bought a newer model the same week. Everything I did, she had to do bigger, better, or dismiss as unimportant. Looking back now, I can see the pattern so clearly. But at the time, I just thought it was normal sibling rivalry. I didn't realize how deep her resentment ran, how every achievement of mine felt like a personal attack to her. I didn't understand that in her mind, my happiness was somehow taking away from hers. Our parents didn't help. They'd always compare us, even when they thought they were being fair. Marina got straight A's, but Aurora is so creative. Aurora made the soccer team, but Marina is such a talented musician. Every compliment to one of us came with a qualifier about the other. We were never just ourselves. We were always measured against each other, but I never thought she'd go this far. I met my fiancé Caspian 3 years ago at a friend's art gallery opening. He was charming, thoughtful, and made me feel seen in a way I'd never experienced before. He worked as an architect and had this creative, passionate approach to life that balanced perfectly with my more practical nature as a financial analyst. We dated for 2 years before he proposed on a trip to the coast. It was perfect: sunset, a secluded beach, words that made me cry happy tears. I called my family immediately, and everyone was thrilled, including Marina, or so I thought. She seemed genuinely happy for me. She helped me plan the wedding, gave opinions on dresses, came to tastings. She and Caspian got along well. He'd joke that he was gaining a sister, not just a wife. I thought it was sweet that my future husband and my sister had a good relationship. I was so naive. About 6 months into wedding planning, I started noticing small things. Marina would volunteer to handle tasks and then subtly change what I'd asked for. I wanted simple floral centerpieces, and she'd tell the florist I wanted elaborate arrangements. I wanted a string quartet, and she'd suggest a full band. When I'd correct things, she'd apologize sweetly and say she was just trying to make everything special. She also started spending more time with Caspian. She'd text him with wedding questions, even though I was perfectly available. She'd suggest the 3 of us grab dinner to coordinate details. She'd ask his opinion on things before asking mine, saying she wanted to surprise me. My maid of honor, my best friend Lyric, mentioned she found it odd. "Your sister is really involved in your wedding," she said carefully. "She's just being helpful." Is she, or is she kind of taking over? She's excited. I think she's processing her own feelings about relationships by investing in mine. Maybe, but watch yourself. Something feels off. I dismissed Lyric's concerns. Marina was my sister. Yes, she was competitive, but she wouldn't sabotage my wedding. She wouldn't cross that line. I was wrong about what line she'd cross. The truth was so much worse than sabotage. My wedding was planned for a Saturday in June at a beautiful vineyard. The rehearsal dinner was Friday night, and it went perfectly. Caspian gave a sweet speech about how lucky he was to marry me. Marina toasted to love finding its way to the right people. Everyone drank and laughed and celebrated. The morning of my wedding, I woke up excited and nervous. My bridesmaids came to the bridal suite at the venue to help me get ready. Hair, makeup, dress, everything was going smoothly. Marina was there, playing the supportive sister role perfectly. Around 11 o'clock, 2 hours before the ceremony, Marina suggested everyone take a break while I had some quiet time. "Aurora needs to center herself," she said. Why don't you all go check on the flowers and the seating arrangements? I'll stay with her. Lyric hesitated. I can stay too. No, sister time. We need a moment before everything changes. The bridesmaids left. It was just me and Marina in the suite. I was in my wedding dress, feeling beautiful and nervous and overwhelmingly happy. How are you feeling? Marina asked. Like I'm going to float away. Let me make you some tea. It'll help ground you. She pulled out a thermos from her bag. I didn't think it was strange at the time. Marina was always prepared, always bringing special teas or snacks to events. Aurora, just drink the tea. You need to calm down before the ceremony. I am calm. Why does everyone keep saying that? Your hands are shaking. This will help with the nerves. Marina, I don't want... Why are you locking the door? Just drink it, Aurora. Everything will make sense soon. That's when I knew something was very wrong. The look in her eyes wasn't sisterly concern. It was something cold and determined. What's in the tea? Nothing that will hurt you permanently, just something to help you sleep through today. Sleep through my wedding? Marina, what are you talking about? You don't deserve him. You don't deserve any of this. You stumbled into a perfect life while I've had to fight for everything, so I'm taking what should have been mine. You're insane. No, I'm done being second. Caspian and I have been talking, really talking, for months now. We have a connection you couldn't possibly understand. He's only marrying you out of obligation, but he loves me. That's not true. Drink the tea, Aurora, or I'll force it down your throat. Either way, you're not making it to that altar. I tried to run for the door, but she grabbed me. We struggled, and the tea spilled all over both of us. Marina was stronger than me, or maybe more desperate. She managed to pin me against the wall. Why are you doing this? I gasped. Because I'm tired of watching you win. Tired of being the older sister who's still single while you get the fairy tale. This is my turn. She pulled a syringe from her bag. An actual syringe. I screamed, but she covered my mouth. This won't hurt. You'll just go to sleep. When you wake up, it'll all be over, and you'll understand this was meant to be. She jabbed the needle into my arm. I felt a sharp pain, and then, almost immediately, a wave of dizziness. My legs gave out. Marina caught me and dragged me to the couch. Sleep tight, sister. I'll take good care of your groom. Everything went black. I have fragments of memory from the next few hours. Voices asking where I was. Marina's voice saying I'd gotten food poisoning and was in the bathroom. Time passing, music playing, then silence. When I woke up, it was dark outside. I was still in the bridal suite, still in my wedding dress, lying on the couch. My head felt like it was full of cotton. My mouth was dry. I tried to stand and immediately fell. I crawled to my purse and found my phone. 7 missed calls from Lyric, 12 from my mother, 3 from my father. Text messages asking where I was, if I was okay, what was happening. I called Lyric with shaking hands. Aurora, oh my God, where are you? The bridal suite. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock at night. Your wedding was supposed to be at 1. What happened? Marina drugged me. Where is everyone? Aurora, I don't know how to tell you this. Tell me what? Marina married Caspian. She put on your dress. She had one maid that was identical. She wore your veil. In the chaos of you disappearing, she told everyone you'd run away, that you'd gotten cold feet and she'd found a note. She said Caspian was devastated and she volunteered to go talk to him. Then, somehow, she convinced him to go through with the ceremony anyway, with her as the bride. I thought I'd misheard. What? I know it sounds insane. We were all confused. Your parents were trying to find you. But Marina kept saying you'd written that you wanted Caspian to be happy even if it wasn't with you, that you'd realized you weren't ready. And Caspian. I don't know what she said to him, but he agreed to marry her instead. How is that possible? How did no one stop this? It happened so fast. 1 minute we were searching for you. The next Marina was walking down the aisle in a dress identical to yours. People thought maybe it was some kind of plan you'd both arranged. It was chaos and confusion, and Marina took advantage of every second of it. I was going to be sick. Where are they now? I don't know. After the ceremony, they left. Aurora, I'm coming to get you right now. Lyric picked me up and took me to the hospital. They confirmed I'd been drugged with a sedative, powerful enough to knock me out for hours. I filed a police report. I told them everything Marina had said. everything she'd done. But here's the nightmare part. Marina had covered her tracks well. She'd disposed of the syringe. She'd cleaned up the spilled tea. She'd texted my phone from a burner number pretending to be me, saying I was leaving and couldn't go through with the wedding. She'd forged a note in handwriting similar to mine saying I wanted Caspian to be happy, even without me. And Caspian had married her. Actually married her. The police found them at a hotel, the same hotel where Caspian and I were supposed to spend our wedding night. When confronted, Marina claimed I'd willingly given up my place, that I'd told her I wanted her to marry him instead, that she'd been doing me a favor. Caspian looked shocked when I showed up with the police. Aurora, Marina said you ran away. She said you left a note saying you realized you loved someone else. She drugged me. She locked me in the bridal suite and injected me with sedatives so she could take my place. That's insane. We wouldn't. You married my sister while I was unconscious in the building. How could you not question that? She showed me your note. She was crying, saying you'd confided in her that you had doubts. She said you wanted me to be happy and that she'd always had feelings for me. It was overwhelming and confusing, and everyone was panicking. The wedding was supposed to happen and you were gone and she was there and you didn't think to wait? To actually find me? To question any of this? He didn't have an answer. The marriage was annulled within 72 hours once the truth came out. The hospital tests proved I'd been drugged. Security footage showed Marina locking the bridal suite door with me inside and standing guard to keep people from checking on me. Her texts and the forged note were analyzed and proven to be fabricated. Marina was arrested and charged with assault, administering drugs without consent, fraud, and forgery. The case was solid. She'd planned everything. She'd bought an identical dress weeks earlier. She'd obtained sedatives through some connection she never fully explained. She'd practiced forging my handwriting. The why became clear during the investigation. Marina had been obsessed with Caspian from the moment she met him. She'd convinced herself that he was meant to be with her, that I'd somehow stolen him. She'd spent months manipulating situations to spend time with him, believing she was building a connection, when really she was just being his future sister-in-law. She'd even kept a journal detailing her fantasy relationship with him, pages and pages of scenarios she'd imagined, conversations she'd twisted in her mind to mean more than they did, plans for how they'd be together once I was out of the picture. The police found it during a search of her apartment, and it was disturbing in its detailed delusion. Caspian was horrified when he understood the full scope of what happened. He apologized repeatedly, but the damage was done. How could I marry someone who'd married my sister mere hours after I disappeared? Someone who hadn't fought harder to find me, who'd believed I'd abandoned him based on a suspicious note and my sister's word. I was in shock, he said. Nothing made sense, and Marina was so convincing. She said you'd confided everything to her, that you'd begged her to step in so I wouldn't be humiliated in front of everyone. And you believed that was something I'd do. I wasn't thinking clearly. I should have fought harder to find you. I should have known something was wrong. I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But regret doesn't undo what happened. It doesn't give me back my wedding day or my trust. My parents were devastated. My mother kept saying she couldn't believe she'd raised someone capable of such cruelty. My father just looked broken, unable to reconcile his image of his daughters with what Marina had done. The family fractured. Some relatives blamed me somehow, saying I must have done something to make Marina so desperate. Others were horrified by Marina's actions and refused to speak to her. The majority were just confused and sad, mourning the family we used to be. Marina took a plea deal. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The judge called her actions calculated, manipulative, and profoundly cruel. He noted that she'd traumatized her sister, fraudulently entered into a marriage, and shown no genuine remorse. At sentencing, she finally spoke directly to me. I'm sorry you couldn't handle someone wanting what you had. Some of us have to fight for everything. Even then, she couldn't take responsibility. She saw herself as the victim. Caspian and I tried to work through things. We went to counseling. He explained that Marina had been subtly poisoning him against me for months, planting small doubts, making comments that seemed innocuous but added up. She'd been preparing him to believe I might run, but I couldn't get past the image of him marrying her. of him standing at the altar with my sister in my dress, saying vows that were supposed to be ours. Even if he'd been manipulated, even if he'd been in shock, he'd made that choice. We ended things 4 months after what should have been our wedding day. It was sad but necessary. Too much had been broken. I'm rebuilding my life now. It's been 8 months since Marina destroyed my wedding day. I'm in therapy, working through the trauma of being drugged by my own sister, of having my fiancé stolen, of losing the family I thought I had. I've started dating again, cautiously. I've learned to trust my instincts when something feels off. I've learned that competition between siblings can become toxic in ways I never imagined. I've learned that some people will take what they want, regardless of who they hurt. My relationship with my parents is complicated now. They visit Marina in prison and keep asking when I'll forgive her. I don't know if I ever will. What she did wasn't a mistake or a moment of poor judgment. It was calculated, planned, and cruel. Marina took my wedding day. She took my fiancé, even if only for a few hours. She took my sense of safety with family, but she didn't take my future. I'm building a new one, without her, without Caspian, without the naive trust I used to have. I'm stronger now, warier, but stronger. And I refuse to let what she did define the rest of my life. Some people think I should forgive her eventually, that she's family and family is forever. But those people weren't drugged and locked in a room while their sister stole their wedding. They don't know what it's like to wake up and discover your own flesh and blood cared so little for you that they'd rather see you unconscious than happy. Marina made her choices. Now she's living with them, and I'm living my life without her. If your sister drugged you on your wedding day to marry your fiancé herself, would you ever consider forgiving her, or would you cut her out of your life permanently?